A Texan tourist thought messing with a royal guard was just harmless fun. One squeeze of barbecue sauce, one smug gesture, and a few seconds later, his entire life was spiraling out of control. The crowd watched, cameras rolled, and he had no idea what he'd just triggered. But that was only the beginning of his downfall. Let's unpack how it all went so horribly wrong. It was one of those scorching summer afternoons in London, the kind where even the pigeons looked like they were regretting their life choices. The plaza in front of Buckingham Palace was packed with tourists, all jostling for the perfect Instagram shot or shoving overpriced ice cream cones into their kids' sticky hands. Among the crowd stood Justin Carmichael, a loudmouth Texan who seemed to think the whole world was his personal stage. At 40, he carried himself like someone who still believed he was the funniest guy in the room, though the room usually disagreed. With his cowboy hat slightly askew and a barbecue sauce container clutched in one hand, Justin was all about getting attention. And boy, did he find his target. Standing stoic and silent, like something carved out of stone, was Elijah Cross, one of the Queen's elite guards. At just 26, Elijah's crisp uniform and laser-focused demeanor screamed discipline. His face was calm, unreadable, but there was an intensity in his stance that said he didn't miss a thing. Justin, of course, couldn't resist. "Y'all think these guards are even real people?" he hollered to his friends, who burst into nervous laughter. "Or are they just fancy statues that the Brits keep polishing?" The group chuckled, but you could tell some of them weren't entirely comfortable. Tourists nearby started glancing over, sensing that this might turn into a show. Justin, encouraged by the attention, strode closer, barbecue sauce container still in hand. His grin was wide, smug, and utterly clueless. "You know what this guy needs?" Justin said, holding up the container like it was some kind of trophy. "A little taste of Texas hospitality." The guard didn't flinch, didn't even blink. That just made Justin bolder. He leaned in closer, his voice dripping with mockery. "Come on, man, lighten up. You ever even smile, or is that against the rules? Here, maybe this'll help." And with a flick of his wrist, Justin tipped the container. Thick, sticky barbecue sauce splattered across Elijah's pristine uniform, staining the white trim with splotches of dark red. The plaza fell silent. You could almost hear the gasps as dozens of people turned to see what had just happened. Elijah stood perfectly still, his expression unchanged. But if you were paying attention, you'd notice his fingers tightening ever so slightly around the hilt of his ceremonial sword. Justin, oblivious to the growing tension, threw his head back and laughed. "Y'all see that? Dude didn't even move. That's commitment." He turned to his friends, who were no longer laughing. From the crowd, a voice rang out, sharp and clear. "Hey, that's not funny. What's your problem?" Justin froze for a split second, his grin faltering as he realized the mood had shifted. The tourists who had been watching with mild curiosity now looked angry, or worse, disgusted. Elijah finally moved. Just one step forward, slow and deliberate. But that single step hit like a thunderclap. Justin's cocky expression melted into something closer to uncertainty. Whoa, big guy," he stammered, holding up his hands in mock surrender. "No need to get all serious. It was just a joke." Elijah's gaze didn't waver. He was a statue no longer. He was a storm brewing on the horizon. And Justin? He was starting to feel the wind shift. The crowd buzzed with anticipation, everyone wondering what would happen next. Phones were already out, cameras rolling. This wasn't just a tourist attraction anymore. It was about to become the kind of story that gets told long after the summer heat fades. Justin didn't know it yet, but he'd just crossed a line he could never uncross. The air was so thick with tension, you could practically cut it with a knife. And just when it seemed like the plaza might explode, a voice boomed over the murmurs of the crowd. "London police, everyone step back." Heads snapped toward the source of the command. Two uniformed officers were weaving through the gawking tourists, their no-nonsense expressions turning the buzz into an awkward silence. The crowd parted like the Red Sea, and suddenly all eyes were on Justin, whose swagger evaporated faster than spilled water on a hot sidewalk. One officer approached Elijah, his tone calm but authoritative. "Are you all right, sir?" Elijah gave a curt nod, his face unreadable as ever. He didn't say a word, didn't need to. His silence said everything. This isn't the first time, and it probably won't be the last. The other officer turned to Justin, who was standing there like a kid caught sneaking cookies before dinner. You just committed an assault on a member of the Royal Guard. You're under arrest. Justin's face twisted into an exaggerated expression of disbelief. Assault? You've got to be kidding me. It's just barbecue sauce, man. He gestured wildly at the stain on Elijah's uniform, as if that would somehow make things better. The officer didn't flinch. Sir, I suggest you save your explanation for the station. Justin's protests were drowned out by the murmurs and whispers from the crowd, which had shifted from curious to judgmental. Phones were still out, recording every second of his public downfall. You're embarrassing yourself, someone called out. Another voice chimed in. Serves him right. Justin's face turned beet red, but whether it was from anger or humiliation was anyone's guess. When the officer pulled out the handcuffs, the energy in the plaza shifted again. There was something oddly satisfying about watching the self-proclaimed jokester squirm as the cuffs clicked into place. As Justin was led toward the waiting police car, the crowd couldn't help but add their commentary. Disgraceful. Don't mess with the Royal Guard. Even a kid shouted, That's what you get. Inside the police car, Justin tried one last time to salvage his ego. This is ridiculous. You people have no sense of humor. It's a joke. Everyone loves barbecue sauce. The officer in the passenger seat didn't even glance back. Save it, mate. As Justin was busy spiraling into the worst day of his life, the internet was doing what it does best, turning the whole mess into a viral sensation. The video was everywhere, captioned with lines like, When keeping it funny goes wrong. Royal Guard, 1, Texas tourist, 0. How to ruin your vacation in less than 10 seconds. Comments poured in by the thousands. Why do people think this kind of thing is okay? Props to the Guard for staying professional. I would have lost it. This is why the UK can't have nice things. By the time Elijah got home, his phone was buzzing non-stop. Messages of support flooded in from friends, colleagues, and even complete strangers. The world had noticed his restraint, and many were calling him a hero for his composure. But as he sat in his small, neatly kept apartment, staring at the screen, Elijah felt more drained than triumphant. Sure, the internet loved him today, but tomorrow it would move on to the next big thing. The barbecue sauce would come out of his uniform, but the memory of the humiliation wouldn't fade so easily. His mom's voice pulled him out of his thoughts. You did good today, son, she said softly, placing a hand on his shoulder. Elijah gave her a faint smile. Thanks, Mom. But inside, he couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't a victory. It was just another reminder of the battles he faced daily. Battles most people couldn't even see. Justin woke up the next morning feeling like he had a hangover, except he hadn't touched a drop of alcohol. It wasn't the headache or the dry mouth that hit him. It was the relentless buzzing of his phone and the realization that something was seriously wrong. Groaning, he grabbed his phone from the nightstand. At first, the screen wouldn't even load. It was overwhelmed with notifications, texts, emails, missed calls, and... Was that his face on the news app? He squinted at the headline. American tourist humiliates Royal Guard, faces backlash online. Justin's stomach sank. Clicking into the article, he was greeted by a freeze frame of himself mid-laugh, barbecue sauce container in hand, with Elijah standing stoic in the background. Below the image were words like disrespectful, entitled, and viral embarrassment. Viral? Justin muttered, his heart racing. Oh no. He didn't have to scroll far to see just how bad it was. Every platform was filled with clips of his antics, and the comment sections were absolutely brutal. This guy's the reason tourists have such a bad reputation. Props to the Guard for staying calm, I wouldn't have. This is the most Texas thing I've ever seen, and not in a good way. The memes were even worse. One had Justin's face plastered onto a ketchup bottle with the caption, "When the sauce is your personality." Another showed Elijah with the text, unbothered, unshaken, unmatched. Before Justin could even start damage control, his phone rang. It was his boss. Justin, the voice on the other end was tense, clipped, and unmistakably serious. We need to talk. Justin's attempt at a casual, hey, what's up, fell flat. We've seen the footage. Everyone has seen the footage. This is a PR nightmare for us, and frankly, we can't afford the association. Wait, Justin stammered, sitting up straight. It's not what it looks like. It was just a joke. Doesn't matter, the boss cut him off. You're fired, effective immediately. We'll be mailing your final paycheck. The call ended before Justin could respond. He stared at his phone, the gravity of the situation crashing down on him. It didn't stop there. Justin's social media accounts, once filled with pictures of barbecue competitions and fishing trips, were now locked due to violations. Friends who usually laughed at his jokes weren't responding to his messages. Even his neighbors were giving him the side eye when he went outside. The final nail in the coffin came when a news van pulled up outside his house. A reporter stepped out, microphone in hand, ready to ask the man behind the barbecue scandal for a comment. Justin closed his blinds and sank onto his couch. He could hear voices outside, neighbors gossiping. "Honestly, this doesn't surprise me," one said. "He's always been like this." "Yep," another agreed. "Thinks he's better than everyone. Guess karma caught up with him." Meanwhile, Elijah was trying to keep his life as normal as possible. But normal wasn't on the menu. His inbox was overflowing with messages from strangers thanking him for his composure, calling him a role model, even asking for interviews. Finally, he agreed to a short one with a local news station. Sitting in his neatly kept apartment, he kept his words simple and direct. "This isn't about me," Elijah said, his voice steady. "It's about the bigger picture. We shouldn't accept disrespect or prejudice in any form. It's not just about what happened yesterday, it's about what we tolerate as a society." The clip aired that evening, and viewers praised Elijah's grace under pressure. Back in Texas, Justin sat alone in his dimly lit living room. His barbecue sauce-stained hat lay discarded on the coffee table, a glaring reminder of the day his life went up in flames. He scrolled through his phone, but the messages weren't from friends. They were relentless comments from strangers tearing him apart. For the first time, Justin didn't have a joke or a comeback. His laughter, his bravado, his self-assured grin, all of it had vanished. He was left with one inescapable truth. A single moment of arrogance had cost him everything. How would you have handled the situation if you were in Justin's place? Do you think it could have ended differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you or someone you know ever experienced something similar? Let us know. Your stories matter. And don't forget to like, share, and spread the word. This story was created to shine a light on important issues, raise awareness, and inspire positive change. Your voice can help make the world a better place. Your opinion matters.